All right. So, for those of y'all watching online, I've posted the quiz for y'all to take at home. It's going to drop at 1 p.m. today. So, chances are by the time you're seeing this, it's already available. Okay. So, now we're talking about war. How many of y'all, show of hands, like looking at wars in history? Typically, yeah, typically it's a young guy type deal, right? History Channel comes on. How many of y'all watch the History Channel with your parents? Possibly your dad when they're talking about World War II. Okay.
World War II is my
That's
favorite.
yeah, that tends to be the stereotype, right? Dad's at home watching World War II on the History Channel. Okay. But right now we're talking about the French and Indian War. Morgan. Okay. French and Indian War, and kind of the start of this war and the repercussions of this. So we only have 15 minutes today to talk about. We'll pick up the rest of it tomorrow and maybe even Friday too. It is a fairly longer section. Okay. So what's one of the big reasons, religious reasons, that France and Britain have been rivals for so long? What's a religious reason? Mike?
They have, I'm not sure which is which, but one is Protestant and one is Catholic.
Yeah, one's Protestant, one's Catholic. Which one is Protestant? England. England is Protestant. Anyone remember why England became Protestant? Yeah, the dude. What was the dude's name?
The dude.
No.
Martin Luther.
No.
About all the leaders, the Catholic.
No, Martin Luther had the complaints. He was not the king of England. Yeah. King Henry VIII.
Yeah.
Why did he become why did he join in the Protestant? Huh? What did he want to do that Catholic would the Pope would not allow him to do? Huh? He wanted to get divorced so he could get remarried because he thought that his wife was the problem as to the reason that he wasn't getting a son. And modern science, we now know that
It was his fault.
it was his fault, not his wife's or his second wife's, or yeah, right. So yeah, there's been a religious kind of rivalry between French and Britain for a long time. And that rivalry took on a new hold in North America and became more economic in nature. Okay. So kind of setting the stage here for conflict, the English had the eastern coast of what's now the United States, right? Yeah.
Didn't the French have Canada?
The French had Canada.
No.
Okay. So England's coming in, moving west into what is the Ohio River Valley, and the French have Canada. They're up north, and they're moving south along the Great Lakes into the Ohio River Valley. So Ohio, where the modern state of Ohio is, becomes a center of conflict between the British and the French. Okay. How has the French relationship with Native Americans been? It was good, right? Out of the three main European countries in North America, which one had the worst relationship with Native Americans?
England.
No, not England. Starts with an S. Spain. Because remember, Spain tried to enslave Native Americans first, and then when that didn't work out well for them, they went on and started to enslave Africans for it. Yeah, but Spain had the worst. England also had a pretty bad, but they weren't the worst. Like they will end up moving into the worst. Okay, but yeah, England, they didn't have that great of a relationship. But the European country that had the best relationship was France. Okay. And why did France have such a good relationship with Native Americans? Why was that necessary for them?
Their fur trade.
The fur trade, right? They had such a high profitable fur trade. It was one of those things that they needed the Native Americans to help supply them with furs, right? Because the Native Americans know where to trap the beavers and the other animals that they would use for fur. Yeah, they were familiar with the territory, all right? So the Ohio River Valley had a lot of fur potential, and so that's why the French wanted it. The English also wanted to get a piece of the action, and so that's why they wanted it. Okay, so if you're the French, and you have a profitable fur trade in the area, are you going to set up things to help protect that?
Yes.
Yeah. What are the things that you're going to set up?
Bombs.
No, not bombs. Chris, what'd you say? What? Okay, where are you going to store these guns and weapons? It starts with an F, and it's part of a name of a game that y'all play. So you're going to store them in forts. Okay, so the French start like they want the Ohio River Valley, and so to control the Ohio River Valley, they start building up all these forts along it, all the way from Lake Ontario, one of the Great Lakes, down through Pennsylvania into the Ohio River Valley. Now, Pennsylvania belongs to who? Pennsylvania. Who started Pennsylvania? The British. The British. William Penn. The British. Okay. And so the British aren't really liking this, having a French fort in their backyard, right? So, okay. Well, continuing with the French real quick, they did end up capturing a British fort, which is another big no-no, right? And they end up building a fort on the site called Fort Duquesne. Okay, it does not, because it's French, it does not spell the way it sounds. Okay, Fort Duquesne, there's an S in there, there's a Q. It's a French word. Okay, but they built Fort Duquesne in the colony of Pennsylvania. Big no-no.
Very.
Right. So in the spring of 1754, the governor of Virginia, which Virginia, remember, is a colony, like where West Virginia is right now, used to be part of Virginia. And so Virginia is not that far away from where this action's going. The governor of Virginia sends a militia force. Anybody want to take a guess at who's leading this militia force? It's a name that we all know.
Washington.
Washington. George Washington. He was a British officer.
I
Okay.
remember that, but I'm like, wait a second. Was he around at that time?
Yeah. This is 54, which kind of tells you that when he would fight and lead the Continental Army in the American Revolution about 20 years from now,
He would be a lot older.
he would be at least in his 40s. Okay. And then by the time he's president, he's in his like 60s,
Nice.
right? So he's getting up there in age as the country's going on, right? But the Virginia governor enlists Washington to lead a group into Pennsylvania and kick the French out of Fort Duquesne. Okay. So Washington, being a brand new military commander, he goes up there, he builds Fort, anybody?
Washington.
Fort Necessity.
Oh.
Okay, it's typically at this point in the semester when we talk about Fort Necessity that students start singing a song from the Jungle Book.
Oh,
Bare Necessity.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
So Washington is singing. No, Washington built Fort Necessity, which was near Fort Duquesne. In his first battle, does Washington win?
No.
Nope. Washington loses and gets captured.
Nice.
He's Washington surrenders. So he surrenders. His men are captured by the French, and they are later released by the French to go back with their tail between their legs to Virginia. Okay.
Ooh, for Washington.
All right. Let's see real quick. Okay, so who do you think, given the nature of the relationship with Native Americans, first off, did both countries want to have Native American allies?
Yes.
Yes. Both countries wanted it. Which country do you think had the advantage with Native Americans? Why?
They already had a good
They
relationship.
had a better relationship. Yeah, yeah. Now the British tried to get the Iroquois Confederacy, which if they had gotten the Iroquois Confederacy, that would have been a big win because it's not just one tribe, several tribes put together. They tried to get the Iroquois Confederacy to join and be allied with them, and the Confederacy was like, no, we good. We're just gonna stay neutral. We'll let y'all hash it out. Okay. Because if you join a side, one of the things that you risk is the possibility that you're going to what? Well, you could die, or
Or you could
your
lose
side
everything.
could,
Get
but your side
lose.
could lose. If you fight a war, you could lose. And so Native American tribes, if the Iroquois sided with the British and they lost, what do you think they would have to give up?
Their freedom.
No, well, it starts with an L. Land. They'd have to give up land. And that was something that they did not want to risk, right? So they were just like, yeah, we'll let y'all fight it out. Okay, we'll pick up here tomorrow.